After a firestorm of negative reactions to OGL 1.1, Wizards of the Coast retreats, as Paizo advances, ready to fight on multiple fronts. Hello and welcome to D6 Damage. In my previous video, I said that I was going to keep an eye on the evolving situation with Wizards OGL 1.1 leaks. There's been more information released, and we're starting to get a clear idea of how Paizo is going to handle it. So I was going to take this opportunity to inform you about what's going on in the world of tabletop gaming. First off, let's look at how Wizards of the Coast has reacted to the situation that they've created. In response to the massive wave of fan backlash and threats of legal action from Paizo, Wizards of the Coast has wisely chosen to backpedal. In a recent statement, Wizards said that the OGL leak was to get fan feedback to help improve the Open Gaming License version 1.1. I would say that the fan feedback is pretty unambiguous. According to Wizards, they are currently revising 1.1, and they've clarified their intentions around the language that appeared to give Wizards of the Coast ownership of the intellectual property created by third-party developers. Apparently, this was just there to protect Wizards from allegations of theft based on implied similarities. It's up to you whether or not you want to take them at their word, but I wouldn't. So, Wizards is clearly making some changes. Now, let's look at how Paizo has chosen to react. Paizo has made an official statement that they are prepared to fight Wizards of the Coast in court. Paizo's argument is that the original OGL can't be revised, updated, or changed in any way. Now, even though they've stated that they're prepared for a legal battle, that isn't their first choice. In fact, it seems like Paizo's option of last resort. Instead, they seem to be throwing their time and resources into the creation of an entirely new open gaming license. Paizo is working with the IP law firm, Azora Law. Remember that name, it will be important. Azora is the law firm that created the structure for the original Open Gaming License. And this new OGL, according to Paizo, will be, quote, perpetual and irrevocable, unquote. Interestingly, as it currently stands, Pathfinder 2nd Edition and Starfinder exist essentially outside the original Open Gaming License. Those systems are unique enough that Wizards of the Coast has no grounds to stop Paizo from publishing them. And yet, they were still published under the Open Gaming License. This was done for the benefit of other developers. Paizo wanted to make Pathfinder 2 and Starfinder as easy to create content for as possible. And up until recently, everyone had been using the original OGL with no problems. Paizo won't actually own this new OGL. It will be owned and stewarded by Azora Law. This will be to prevent any future corporate mergers or sales from threatening the tabletop industry again. Other publishers like Kobold Press, Green Ronin, and Rogue Genius Games will be contributing to this new open gaming license. That is currently the situation as it stands. And I'd like to conclude this video with some thoughts on where things go from here. Regardless of what Wizards of the Coast chooses to do with OGL 1.1, whether they completely walk things back or they still try to pull off some fancy legal maneuvers, what is certain is that trust in Wizards is at absolute rock bottom. And justifiably so. Attempted murder is a crime, after all. Even with the most charitable possible interpretation, even if you believe what they say about them simply trying to protect their intellectual property, they've proven themselves to be incredibly untrustworthy. And if you have any ambitions toward creating your own content under the Open Gaming License, I would highly recommend looking somewhere other than Dungeons & Dragons. As for Paizo's proposed new OGL, it'll be very interesting to see what comes of it. Trusting what's supposed to be an impartial third party, Azora Law, would seem to provide the industry with some much-needed stability. How impartial Azora actually turns out being, well, that's another matter. But at the moment, this seems like a good and necessary step forward. I'll be keeping my eye out for more information on what this new open gaming license allows developers to actually do. as well as keep you updated for any events that impact the future of the Pathfinder role-playing game that we all care about. Thank you very much for watching D6 Damage. If you're interested in more content around Pathfinder, check us out on YouTube and BitChute. And if you want to take your game further, join the D6 Damage Discord, where we have tons of great discussion about all aspects of the game. Character builds, dungeon mastering, and much, much more.